Yeah, so this is the record line that we've used at previous records. This is what Matt Smith show the 731 on and Roland Smith show 644. So as a commentator, you're there to entertain the crowd and you're there to put a bit of colour in, but most importantly, you're there for the shearers.
Yep. Could you imagine how many he could do if his arms weren't so big?
Well, yeah, that's it. But
I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by Farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
We are here this week with a podcast from Huw Condron. Huw is a very well-known sheep shearing commentator and a contract shepherd with a Welsh twang. So we're going to hear from Huw. This one was filmed down at Una's record.
Yes.
Last week that I went down to in Cornwall. I'm sure everyone's heard about it, but Una broke the 9-hour strong wool ewe record and she shore 517 sheep in 9 hours. The first woman in a modern record conditions to do over 500 sheep. And she's 51-year-old. What a machine. So we're going to get Una on obviously at some point, but obviously couldn't get her during the day. And while we're down there, I thought, let's get a podcast done. So we got Huw in. Before we start into Huw, I better do some thank yous. Who will we thank?
We will thank our sponsors, Crystalyx and Animax.
Yeah, thanks to Crystalyx and Animax. I have just got my Animax order in. We have got all the ewes to bolus. It's that time of year. It's that time of year. So everything's, well, actually, everything isn't shown yet. I've still got 40 to shear.
Oh, come on.
I know.
When are you doing them?
The Wednesday, which is next dry day. So yeah, finish shearing on Wednesday, and then we'll be straight into, we've got some foot vaccine to do. So everything's to be foot vaxxed. Half of them have to be foot vaxxed twice because they weren't put on the system last year, and they definitely need it. So there's going to be a lot of that done. Everything bolused, although we won't bolus them yet. We'll bolus them just sort of pre-tupping. We'll probably give them a bolus. We're OPA scanning.
Yeah.
Next week as well, actually. So that's an interesting one. So I reckon the mules might have a touch of OPA. It's a very common, I say very common. Is it getting more common? I don't know. We're maybe getting top of it a bit, but OPA is essentially like a disease in the lungs where the lungs fill with fluid. Well, you'll know all about it. You're a blackie lass. You'll know all about it.
What is that? Is it like a thing that blackies have it? Like what is that?
I think blackies get a hard time as being accused of being bad for it. And I think there is a lot of it in the blackie flocks, but it's not blackie specific. It's
I was going to say, if it was, why would it be more likely to be in the blackies?
Yeah, I just think there is a bit of it in the blackies, and that's how sometimes they get tarred with that brush. I mean, I dare say the fact that I'm thinking it's in the mules, it's probably came from blackies. Well, it's almost guaranteed it's came from the blackie side of things. But it'll go to any breed, mule being an example, or you know, if you start mixing, you'll get them in the Cheviates and all these other breeds. It will happen. But one good thing with the blackie guys and girls is that they seem to be sort of tackling it head on. You know, there's a lot of OPA scanning now, which is what we're going to do. And
so what would you do? Scan and then get rid of anything
you have to cull
with
them.
OPA, right?
Yeah, you can't treat them for it. You have to cull them out.
And would they then go into the food chain, or are they?
Yeah, they're fine for that. It's just fluid in the lungs, so no, they're absolutely fine for that. It's a kind of funny one because for me as a commercial flock, it's not really an issue.
Right. Okay.
You know, like for the few that would, you know, the 2 or 3 that have it. If it wasn't for the girls, you know, often to come and do the OPA scanning and spread a bit of awareness, then would I bother? Probably not. I'd probably just continue to, like, we're culling quite hard on anything that's lean at the wrong time of year, you know, so in the next month or so, if we go through the ewes and there's something lean, she's out the flock. If we're bringing the sheep in and a sheep lies down, she's out the flock. You know, we'll just put a kill mark on her. You know,
just need a wee rest.
Well,
I've seen me in here having a wee lie down.
I know. But to be fair, we never push the ewes that hard that they should be lying down. So if she's dropping off the back and looking for a reason to sit down, it's probably because our lungs are, you know, struggling.
Yeah. You sound like your lungs are struggling a wee bit there.
Yeah, I think that trip to Cornwall did me in. Yeah.
Well,
got a speeding ticket as well.
God.
Just to go on a mad tangent. So landed at the airport in Cornwall.
Without a hotel?
Not Cornwall, Bristol. Yeah, so I flew down for midnight and I thought, oh, well, it starts at 5 in the morning, we'll just drive for a bit, sleep in a lay-by, and drive a bit more. That probably didn't help the old cold or whatever we've got. But yeah, I'm going through this, along this road, right? 40 mile an hour country road.
40 mile an hour.
Aye, which is weird anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sitting at 42, right? Which is under 40 because your speedo isn't calibrated, can I just say?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what does that mean? So your car tells you you're going faster than you actually are?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because like the police, so like the road traffic cars, they all have to go to be calibrated, so their speedo's accurate. You know,
Okay.
how, you know, road traffic will drive a fancy BMW or whatever. The road traffic cops,
Yeah.
their car has to go and be calibrated because the speedo's not accurate.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's always over. So anyway, I'm doing 42, which is probably closer to 39. But we'll find out what it was because I must have went into a 30. It must have dropped to a 30 going through a little village. 1, 2 in the morning, and next thing I was woken up by a flash, and then I was like, bugger, was that a speed camera? And then my brain was kind of like, oh no, can't be a speed camera. I'm doing 40 mile an hour, like I'm absolutely fine. And then it came to like the end of the bit, and then I seen a sign for 40, and I thought, was I on a 30? So I can only think that's what it was. I never actually looked to go back and see if it was a 30 or what it was, but I'm sure it flashed, so I'm fairly certain I have my first ever penalty points.
Well, do you get penalty points for that?
I don't know. I know in England sometimes you can get away with like doing a speed awareness course and all this stuff, but I don't think that's with a camera. I think that's if a cop stops you.
Right, okay.
But maybe. We'll wait and see what the letter says. I'll share it with you on here when I get it. But like I've never had penalty points.
You don't have.
And the ironic thing is, my pickup is in the garage just now for a DPF filter because it's clogged up because I drive so slow all the time.
Tell that to the policeman.
Oh, there's no police involved. But the ridiculous thing is, yeah, I drive so slow all the time, my cars get clogged up because I've not been given it. You're meant to. There's a wee light comes on with like a whoosh out the back of the car.
Right, okay.
And that's telling you to floor it and to
get things moving.
Get the revs up and get it a good blow through. But of course, I've got every bloody light on in my dash, so it's just another light to me. It's like there's hundreds of them. It's like Christmas. So I thought nothing of it. Kept driving, clogged up, lost power, and now it doesn't go. And that's why. So it's my own fault for driving slow. So it's ridiculous that I get a speeding ticket. I never thought I'd get a speeding ticket.
It's impressive though that that's the first time you ever had points in your licence, I would say.
How's that impressive?
I just think that. I suppose policeman you would have had to.
Highly, very well behaved, highly trained driver.
Yeah, okay.
Don't folk will be laughing because of the bangs in the truck. But as I'll always say,
exactly.
As I'll always say, it's me hitting like gate posts at slow speeds and stuff like that. You know, I've never hit another vehicle.
Touch wood, right?
Touch wood. I've never hit another vehicle. It's always like catching gate posts and. Like if you're reversing wee trailers into, you know, all winter I'm reversing a scanning trailer in, all summer it's a shearing trailer.
Yeah.
Or it's a stock trailer at my own, but you know, you're always
you're just not very good at going backwards.
Well, and then once you've got the and once you've got the first bang in it, you don't really worry about that.
Nah.
You know, a bang's a bang, innit?
Yeah, bang's a bang. I've
Amen.
said it once, I'll say it again.
Put that in a t-shirt. So yeah, that's my trip to Cornwall, and of course we got to see Una break the record. But let's hear a bit for Huw, and then we'll talk a bit about after. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson. You could do your bit as well, and
Huw Condron.
And Huw Condron. So we're currently down at Una Cameron's 9-hour Strongwill record.
Yep.
At Treefank Farm in Cornwall. I just thought we'd grab Huw and have a podcast while we're here.
Huw, I've got nothing else to do today, so
well,
we just want to do something.
Where are we just now in the record? We have done 2 runs.
Yep.
How's she getting on?
Yeah, no, she's going well. She's putting some good tallies up on the board. She's looking strong. She's feeling quite good at the minute. She's got a long way to go, you know, another 3 good solid runs to do. The sheep are big and strong, as they've always been at Treefank, but she's coping well. She's really fit, and we're just hoping for a good outcome at the end of the day.
Yeah, the first thing I would say is the ewes are bigger than they look in the video. Like they're standing behind us here. They're bigger sheep than I was expecting them to be.
Yeah, so this is the record line that we've used at previous records. This is what Matt Smith showed the 731 on, and Roland Smith showed 644. So they've always been big, strong ewes, and they've always been a lot of work. But you know, when the fitness and the gear and everything comes into play, yeah, they do enjoy shearing them because they do comb really well and they shear well, and they're a good test.
Yeah, I mean these sheep, like, the reason the records are doing so well on these sheep, obviously fitness is one part of it, preparation another part, but like these sheep must be good record sheep.
Yeah, they're bred for the job, really. You know, they've been bred by Matt and Pip down here at Trefranc, and he's put a lot of thought into it, and they're farmed. They've been, you know, when we do a record, they farm them for a record, and then when they come to record, they're warmed up, and you know, everything's done according to the rules. But they do really comb, and they shear really well as well. And
what kind of things are you allowed to do to the sheep before it? So, well, we should say, what are the standards of a sheep for a U record?
So the standards of the sheep, 90% of the line have got to have a top knot. Okay. So they've got to have wool on the top of the head. We're not allowed any bare bellies in the line, and they can be crutched to a record template, which is a bit bigger than your hand. It's taken off around the top of the tail, and that's all we're allowed to do.
Okay.
And then we're allowed to warm them, but we're not allowed to use heaters anymore. That's changed.
Yep.
We used to use humidifiers. We're not allowed to use humidifiers anymore. So as the rules have progressed and everything has moved on, we can just do what we're allowed to do, and then it seems to work at the minute, and hopefully the records will be successful and everything will be good at the end of the day.
Yeah, this will be obviously after Una's done the record, and I could just about guarantee that she's going to do the record. Two runs in. As
long as the rest of the day goes according to plan, and as it's gone according to the start, we should have a successful outcome. You know, we never count our chickens before the end of a record, because you know, things can happen.
But the good thing is, see if it ends up being a disaster, I'll just cut all this out.
Yeah,
so nobody will know I ever said this.
Well, that's perfect. But I've ended up on the cutting room floor before, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, you're used to it. A couple of other things though that I find really interesting about, because I mean, as a scientist that's going here, and Matt is obviously a master at it. You know, the amount of records that have been held here. There's Stuart Connor as well did the lamb record down here.
Ivan Scott did the lamb record.
Ivan did a record here as well.
Marie Preble did the 8-hour U record. Yep. And now obviously Una. So this will be the 6th or 7th record on this farm.
And Matt says that's it.
He says that's it, but he said that before, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But you know, he's got a couple of kids that are coming through, so it might be a few years off, and who knows, we might come back with just Dusty and George and even Fern.
Yep.
There's 3 stands on the shed there, so we could see another Smith dynasty coming through.
What about a mixed sex 3-stand?
Well, exactly.
Record?
You know,
that would be something. Yeah, I think it would be nice just to see Matt and Rolly do a 2-stand, but
yeah, well, Rolly and Doug did a 2-stand a few years ago, so that it was. I think they were the first lot of brothers that were holding records at the same time. Well, David and John Fagan, of course, but you know, to see 3 brothers, Doug, Rolly and Matt, all world record holders at the same time. Matt had a single-use record, and then Dougie and Rolly, they had a 2-stand record, and then Rolly's gone on to be the 8-hour record holder on what was described as one of the most boring days, because he started off on 161 at 10.5, and he finished the day at 10.5, 161, and everything was the same. So, you know, we've had good records here, and we've been involved in really good records around the world. Matt and I've done a lot together now, and it's great to be part of the team and to help somebody to achieve their goal, because the time and effort that they put into this, it's not just record day. Preparation starts sort of 18 months out, when the preparation starts not only of the sheep, but the preparation of the shearer, the preparation of the team. And because the margins are so tight now, from a successful to unsuccessful record, we're down to sort of 1% margins, and you know, everything has got to be right on the day. We haven't had the best start today with the weather, because it's been a fair bit colder than we were sort of hoping for.
It's like Scotland down here.
It's like a good day in Scotland at the minute. It's raining and it's dreich and it's a bit bluey.
That's a good word.
So, you know, we can do so much for the factors that we can control, but then there are unknown factors. Obviously, the weather plays a big part. When the temperature drops by that much, you've got to warm the sheep a bit more. And the sheep.
And just for folk to understand that, so you've got a bit of a sweat on.
So when you get a bit of a sweat on, that's when the sheep, you can push that comb a lot easier. And, you know, we've got a great team of experts from Heineken, and we've got Adam Berry, past English champion. We've got Dennis O'Sullivan from Ireland, who represented Ireland at the World Championships. And Matt, of course. And then we've got Ants Bryant over in New Zealand has sort of built these combs, put them together, and the great team at Heineken. So you know, on the gear side of things, we're singing, and then it's everything else that we've just got to put into place. And we've had a bit of practice, and if this is going to be the last one, as Matt says, we want it to be as successful as possible. And Una has put a great deal into it. You know, at 51 or 2 years of age, to go for a record is incredible. For a woman to do it is fantastic.
It's amazing.
And I'm driving her back and forth to her changing and massage room, and you know, she's full of fire. She's full of life, and we have a laugh and a joke, and her head's in the right place, and she's got a goal in her mind that she wants to hit at the end of the day, and we will do everything we can to get her over the line.
Yeah, and as I said before, you know, I'm confident it's going to go well, and I think she's going to be the first woman to do 500 in a day on a record.
Yeah, there's women done 500, and we've got to acknowledge
in the sheds,
and in the sheds. But as a tally, if everything lines up, then we should be close to, if not over that line. And the previous record holder, Sasha, is here with us. Yes. She's watching, and I know there's a lot of people watching all over the world on the live stream. And I'm sure they will be looking at this as well, because the women's scene in the last sort of 5 years has really kicked on. Una is, I think I'm right in saying she's the only woman to make the top 30 at the Golden Shears. Or she was certainly the first woman to make the top 30 of the Golden Shears. So she's been on the scene for a long time, and then now to decide that she was going to go for a world record in a cheeky way in her later years in the shearing career. Yep. It's an amazing achievement, and she's put her heart, her body and her soul into it through her training. She's lost about 20 centimetres around her waist. Yeah. Oh, she's gone down sort of 9 jean sizes. She's been training really physically hard with Matt Luxton and the team. So, you know, she's put everything in, and then we as a team have come along. Some of us have come down straight from Stafford after Nick Greaves' record, and then we arrived here on Sunday, and then we've put the same life into this record as we had in that record. Yeah. So, you know, there's a good feeling around the team, and we are a good team that have all come to support Una.
Reduce the risk of fly strike and livestock irritation at grass with Crystalyx Garlics. Flies and midges are a constant pest to livestock throughout the summer and are responsible for diseases such as summer mastitis, pink eye, blue tongue and Schmallenberg. No repellent is 100% effective in the fight against airborne biting insects. However, Crystalyx Garlics can play an important part in reducing the number of flies that land on livestock. Containing concentrated garlic extract, 5 times more potent than pure dried garlic, Crystalyx Garlics offers a natural defense to biting insects, with the high sulfur compounds in garlic acting as a natural insect repellent. With a full complement of vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Garlics balances the known deficiencies in forage while stimulating the rumen for enhanced animal performance. Make the switch this summer to research-proven Crystalyx Garlics.
I need to get Nick in for a podcast, actually tie in with him, because that record he set on lambs. So Nick Greaves, shout out to Nick, probably shearer of the year this year. Yeah, in terms of on you go, you list the accomplishments.
He won the English Championship at the Bath and West to become the English champion. He won the English circuit by winning shows all around the country, and he won numerous shows. You know, he was going to shows and his fitness brought him through. He's a very determined character anyway, and then to go on and set a world record at the end of the competing year, he's had a pretty good year, and you know, his family's expanding, and but he had a great team behind him from his family, his mum and his dad, his aunties, you know, everybody that went there to support him, and he put on a great display of shearing. You know, to go and share. To be the first man to touch 200 in an 8-hour day for the first tally when he showed 199 was accepted by the judges. For him to share that many, he was a determined he was like a terrier with a rat all day. Yep. He kept it going. He showed a fantastic tally. I think he's on the way down. He did tell me that he was hoping to come down to watch this. So
catch him. Maybe I'll get him in for one.
Yeah, you know, and the standard of shearing in the UK, and especially record shearing in the UK, started way back in 2016 on Trefrank, where Matt showed that great tally of 731 ewes. First time a world record had ever been attempted in the Northern Hemisphere. Broke the old record by 10. When we were told it couldn't be done, it was done. Then when Roland then saw the line of sheep and he decided he wanted to have a go, we did it again. But as well as that, other records holders have come through. So Ian Jones, Gareth Daniel went for 2-stand British in 2016. Then we've seen other boys coming through. You know, Ivan Scott, the same year as Matt did his record. He was already a double world record holder with the 8 and the 9 hour. And then he came to Trafranc and he set a new 9 hour. Then, you know, it's inspired that generation of guys to come through. You know, Nick Greaves was sat in the crowd in 2016.
Yeah.
Gareth Daniel was sat in the crowd in 2016, and it showed what could be done. And then I think it's given that bit of confidence then to the boys in the Northern Hemisphere. And now
there'll be a few of these Welsh boys looking at it thinking,
yeah, you know, it's broadened the horizons, and they have a great start over in New Zealand, and you know, they go over and work with these contractors in New Zealand. They get taught. Nick Greaves, in his speech, really, you know, he really thanked Pete Chilcott over at Brendan Manny's up in the Hawke's Bay. They've done an incredible job with a lot of shearers for a lot of years, and they've encouraged those boys to broaden their boundaries and really go for it, and you know, and to talk to Matt and Rowley, and to you know, nobody's untouchable and unapproachable or untouchable. And anybody asks help, you know, as an organizer of these records, if anybody will ask questions, we're more than happy to give us. It's not secrets; it's the way we do it.
Yeah.
So you know, and that's the thing. You know, we've tried to help people.
But it is such a science now, because you've got like Matt Luxton
Yep.
as well. Should give him a shout out.
Yep.
You know, he puts together diet and training plans.
Yeah, well, Matt Luxton has
like
done
you know,
22 world records he's been involved with since he started, but he started here in Cornwall, you know, and now he's taken that trade around the world. And I think people are now appreciated how important the training is.
Yeah.
So Matt Luxton set the bar. For Nick Greaves' record, his brother Richard trained him.
Yep.
But, you know, they looked at what Matt had done, and then they've taken it on. And that's the thing, is every record is different, and you've got to tailor different parts of that record to suit whoever is on the board shearing. So there's no one size fits all for everybody. It's all got to be, every record is tailored individually, and that gets the guys.
Do you think Nick's record will be beat anytime soon?
Well, I certainly won't be trying for it.
No,
but you know, there are some terrific guys around that could do it, both sides of the world. You know, there's amazing guys over in New Zealand, Ruben Alabaster, Jack Fagan. They've held that record. They're all young enough. Ruben Alabaster's in his early 20s. Jack is still in his late 20s.
Yeah.
You know, there could be a lot of competition for a lot of years to come with these guys, because those margins are still there. There's little bits that could still be done to these records, and the competition is great. You know, when you look back at when Darren Ford, David Fagan, you know, the massive names, Dion King, Dion Morell, Rod Sutton, Keith Wilson, when those guys were coming through and battling out for Alan McDonald, they would battle. One would set a record one week, another one would break it the next week. How amazing would that be if we had that tussle year on year between the shearers that we've got now? And you know, it's been a legacy that was built up by those big names, and now these guys they wouldn't be that well known yet on the world stage, but they're coming through, and you know, we've got to pay special homage to those guys. You know, that they have been animals in the shearing industry, and the shearing industry has changed, but these are the new breed of animals that are coming through. You know?
I was going to say, like, seeing 10 years' time, looking back, we're saying Matt and Rowley, we're saying Nick Greaves, Ivan Scott, all these guys.
You know,
to be fair, Matt and Rowley and Ivan and those guys are probably there already.
Yeah, but then, you know, you've got, like you said, you've got young guys like Nick Greaves, and then you've got Myron Evans, who set an amazing British U record, 781 U's in a 9-hour day.
Could you imagine how many he could do if his arms weren't so big and
heavy? Well, yeah, that's it. But you know, I wouldn't tell him that, because they are big and long and heavy. But you know, when you see these guys coming through, it's exciting for shearing.
Yeah.
You know, and then
I look at, like, you look at the Royal Welsh, the shearing at the Royal Welsh, like, and you see some of the talent that's there, and you just think, man, some of these guys could have a crack.
Yeah, and then you know, you got young guys they're doing it on the show stage. but they're waiting in the wings with the record stage. You've got Ilan Rees-Jones, you know, very capable. You've got Gethin Lewis, you've got Clear Jones, who's really kicking on the door, and he's trying for a record in New Zealand.
Yeah, with
this winter.
Pi Abraham. Yeah. So, and Pi does the Shed Talk podcast as well, which anybody that's keen on shearing's well worth checking out.
Yeah, you know, and Pi as well as he's an amazing shearer. He's been around for a lot of years. I've been lucky enough to commentate on him several times. He does a great job with Shed Talk, talking to modern shearers, you know, the up and coming shearers, but he talks to a lot of legends as well. And it's
the legends are the best.
You know, and the they're the ones that people are still looking up to and still aspiring to be.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing like these new people. But, you know, on the stage there, you got Una Cameron. What a legend she is, and what an inspiration for women.
She loves showboat, these guys.
Yeah.
You know, like we're talking about these guys. When these guys are probably just in their 50s, they're not like.
Yeah.
This isn't so long ago.
Yeah,
do you know?
no.
You know, they're still fit men.
Oh,
like,
very fit. You know,
and as fit as Una is here, like Sheila Showboat, these guys. Like,
yeah, but like they're not doing their
phase.
records at the 50s, where she's put her head above the parapet, and she's, you know. She said the other day that she wished she does, because I said, would you do anything different? And she said, yeah, I'd have done it 20 years ago.
But then the opportunities weren't there 20 years ago.
No, and now she's got a lot of mental strength, and mental strength is the top 2 inches in the shearing world, be it show shearing, record shearing, shed shearing. The top 2 inches mean, if they're hard as iron, you're right.
Do you think 20 years ago Una didn't have that?
Oh, she had it then, yeah, but the opportunities.
Yeah, no, it was the opportunity, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, the mental games are big. Like that's Lizzie's thing.
Yeah,
it's like Lizzie would rather like run herself into the ground than admit defeat.
Yeah.
And say this is too hard.
Yeah,
like, and that's what Una's like.
Yeah, you know, no, and
because I think you can hear my voice there, but I've got a bit of a cold as well. Apparently, Una's got a bit of a cold today as well. She's she's feeling a bit better than yesterday, but it's like you do all this work, 18 months of work. And everybody's got the cold. There's a lot of COVID going about from the Royal Welsh.
Yeah, there's the Royal Welsh, you know, still hanging around from the Highlanders. At the record, we were losing, at next record, we were losing team members right up until the morning of the record. We were getting texts, I think I've got COVID, I think I've got flu, I think, you know, and the main thing is you try to protect the shearer as much as possible by saying, right, don't go too close, or if you're feeling crook, go home. But there's only so much of that you can do. And then we tried our very best, obviously, with Una. And then she felt a bit crook yesterday. And then there's other team members have gone down. And, you know, we've got a couple of team members that are staying away today. And it's just, there's all these variable factors that, like I said, when you're trying to organise a record, you try and put everything in a box. You try and get everything lined up. And then you're thrown a curveball at the last minute and that somebody can't be a part of the team.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
So we're back just to do a little bit more, and I just wanted to do, we've done a bit about records.
Yep.
But it's good to hear a bit about Huw Condron and who he actually is. Does anyone know?
He's the idiot that goes around and talks on a microphone, I suppose.
You're known for all that, but what's your story back home? What do you do?
I'm a contract shepherd, living in the Cotswolds with my partner Nicky. We live just outside Northleach, which quite ironically is a historic wool town that the church was built on the back of wool. Contract shepherd, train a few sheepdogs, spend the summer going around shows.
Are you one of these Welsh guys that makes a fortune from sheepdogs?
No, unfortunately not. No. I don't get enough time to spend with them.
You don't have your name on a baseball cap?
No, I don't know. Yeah, I know who you're referring to. Yeah, my family's from the same area as him actually, so down in the Brecon Beacons there. But yeah, no, I train a few sheepdogs mostly for my own use. I do, you know, the odd one or two I do sell, but I just get a lot of enjoyment from working good dogs and be able to go to work in a day and get your work done quite easily without losing your voice is great. So
yeah, and like you're a contract shepherd, but what's the background there? How did you get into farming? Like,
yeah, just family really, and it was something that I wanted to do from a young age. I didn't live on a farm. My father worked for the BBC,
Right.
As an engineer,
John
and then he
Craven?
was no, unfortunately not. He was an engineer, and then he became a head of health and safety for BBC Transmission.
Okay.
We moved from Wales when I was a youngster up to Stratford-on-Avon, mum, sister, and myself, and I always hunkered after farming. I always wanted to be involved in farming. Went to college, Harper Adams, and then travelled, and then started shepherding, and then I got the shearing bug, like everybody does. Travelled the world, became a contractor and a shearer, and then, yeah, just carried on from that, really, and then just moved on and just travelled through life and enjoying life. And I've worked in some amazing places throughout the world, in New Zealand, over in Norway. I've shorn over in Ireland and France, and then I started commentating with the late great Tom Evans at Brecon Show. He was late one in 2003 after I come back from New Zealand the first time, and Tom was late coming. He had a cow calving, and I was pushed into it by John Singleton, and he said, "Well, you've done a bit of public speaking with young farmers. You've done a bit of shearing, get on the microphone." And then when Tom turned up, Steve and he carried on with Steve Meredith and myself, and we've been at it ever since. And I suppose it's become my golf, and it's my enjoyment. I love being part of the buzz around the shows. You know, you've coined the phrase "some buzz," but you know, the shearing world to me is that buzz, and I've been lucky enough then to have commentated all over the UK. I've commentated all over the world with world championships. France, Ireland, over in New Zealand, and it's a great industry to be part of. You know, and it's not only do we come together at records, we come together at shows, and we're a big community. And you know, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, as part of that community, there will be a face that you recognise or somebody that knows you. And it is really some buzz to be part of.
Yeah, and there's probably is a wee bit of that clique thing. And as we're speaking here, anyone that's just listening, wondering if that's rain in the background, that's Una's getting some more sheep through here. For the record, they're standing on slats behind us. That's the most action we've ever had in a podcast. But it's almost like a bit of a clique, and I mean that, and not in a negative way. I mean, like, if anywhere in the world, if you say to somebody, or you speak to another shearer and say you're a shearer, they'll like take you into the fold, you know, if you need a bed for the night, or if you...
Yeah, it's a community, you know, everybody understands that when you work hard, you play hard, and like you say...
Shearers do play hard at times.
Yeah, but...
I could never get into that, because I couldn't keep up.
No, I've never been sort of that side of things, and especially as a commentator, you can't, because you lose your voice.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's that community thing, and when you do travel... And we've all been lucky enough to do it, and you travel around and you say that you're going somewhere. If you go to a show up in the north of Scotland, somebody will give you a bed for the night. Somebody will give you a bed for the night on the way to the show, or a bed on the way home. And it's exactly the same in New Zealand. I'm lucky enough to have, you know, people that I class as really good friends over in New Zealand. I'd only have to say that I'm thinking of going over, and it'll be right when you're arriving, when you're leaving, and the itinerary is almost sorted for me in between. You know, I've great friends from the bottom of the South Island down in Invercargill, right the way up to the north and Northland, and anywhere in between. And I've got the same over in Australia through the World Championships. And we are a community, and then when we do come together at a very special event like the World Championships, then that gives us a chance to make and reconnect and make new connections. So yeah, it's a great thing to be part of, and another phrase that I like using is living the dream.
Yep.
And you know, this is the dream. And
another phrase you like is flat out like a badger on a bypass.
I've sort of used that a fair bit. Everybody gets sick of badgers on bypasses by the end of the season. It's as a commentator, you're there to entertain the crowd, and you're there to put a bit of colour in. But most importantly, you're there for the shearers.
Yep.
You know, and you're there to inform the shearers exactly where they are in relation to everybody else. And you've got to know something about these guys as well, because it doesn't matter what they've done, whether they're a world record holder or whether it's their first show, everybody deserves the same credit, respect and time. And that's something that was taught to me by like I say, we've said some really famous names in the shearing game, but also in the world of commentating. You know, starting in New Zealand, you had Phil O'Shaughnessy, you had Cora Mullins, Norm Haraway is a good friend of mine, Tummer Mullins, another good friend of mine. They're good commentators. John McBride,
sheep game fan.
yeah, John McBride has just retired from the Golden Shears, another very well-known voice. And of course, in this country, then we've had the late great Tom Evans, who was the voice of shearing, who will always be a hero and an inspiration to us in the UK, and to me especially. You know, Tom was an amazing guy. Then Alan Davis was his partner in crime, and then, you know, Roger Rottenbury over in England, and then there's a new wave of us coming through. Steve Meredith, a good friend of mine, we started commentating together, you know, Steve, and then we're very lucky in the Royal Welsh, as you saw. We've got a big team of commentators, good young commentators that love the Royal Welsh. They commentate the speed shears, they come to the Royal Welsh and they do a great job. It's great to be part of that team. But then there's really young guys coming through now in England. There's Nick Harden, there's James Lewis.
And then those boys are quite funny.
And then up in Scotland, then you've got obviously Finlay and Di, and you've got.
Oh, you spoiled it for me. I was hoping you wouldn't mention Di, and then I was going to say you've named a lot of good commentators. Was there any reason you haven't mentioned Di Clark? Di usually sounds like me.
He does, yeah.
That's usually because of alcohol.
He's the sort of the commentator that likes to work hard but play harder, and he's a lot of fun to be around. But you know, as commentators, we have a lot of crack as well when we come together, and it doesn't matter where you are, you have that crack, but we're all there for the same goal, which is the shearers and the crowd, and then we've got to look after the sponsors, the judges, everybody that's involved in the show. Because to put on a show is a massive, massive undertaking, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, and it's the same as a record. We had a team the other day for one man for the 8-hour lamb record. There's over 50 of us in the team. We got one woman here today, and we got the same size team, you know. And then when you go to a shearing competition, there's unseen heroes that we don't see up on the stage. The guys out the back, the people that are tipping sheep, the people that are preparing sheep.
Doing all the scoring.
Doing all the scoring. The timekeepers that sit down in front.
Timekeepers should need a knighthood.
Yeah, like, you know, the people that are, they're not the glory people. You know, for somebody like me as a commentator, people are listening to me, they're watching me, they're listening to the presentation of the awards and the prizes. But the real heart of a show are the people that you see nothing of. They're the ones that do all that unseen work. They start early in the morning, they finish late at night, they don't see any of a show, as none of us do that are involved.
Yep.
They go home, and then they come back next year and they put on another great spectacle wherever you are in the world. Because it doesn't matter the size of the show, the same effort goes into it. Yeah, so, you know, the unsung heroes of the shearing world are the people that you don't see. Same as here, there's guys out the back that don't see any of the shearing at a record.
Some of you might have seen them in this video, actually.
Yeah, some of, you know, when you're involved in a record, there are people that you don't see, and they don't see any of the shearing, and they're all there for that common goal. And it's the same with the shearing competition. It's like a swan, isn't it? You see the top of the water, but you don't see how hard it's pedaling underneath. And the harder people can pedal underneath, the better the top looks. And to be part of that community is great. And, you know, to travel the world, to travel around the country, meet people like yourself, get to take the mickey. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I love us like
you know, and but the main thing is we're not there to offend anybody.
No, but you try really hard.
Well, we make an exception to the rule.
That's his excuse. No offence. My favourite saying is no offence, but
yeah, but you know, and we all have a laugh and a joke. And the main thing is, at the end of the day, we can all go. We can all have shake a hand, share a beer, share a few stories, go home happy, and look forward to the next time that you come through. And you know, that's a great community to be part of.
Good man, Huw. Well, listen. I think we've learned a bit about you and a bit about the importance of you know, keeping these shows going, getting in behind it. What happens in a world record? It's been good to hear.
Yeah, no, well,
thanks for your time.
Like you say, some buzz.
Some buzz. Good man.
And we're back. Thanks, of course, to Huw for stepping in and giving us a little blether. It helped us get a podcast for today when I was away travelling. He's a wise man, Huw.
Wise man.
He's a wise man. He speaks well. Could be a politician almost, man. He gives good answers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, he doesn't embellish anything. He's very sensible.
I feel like I want to be part of the shearing group.
You're a fan. You're too nice. Sorry.
You're not.
No. Your dad will listen to this going like, Iona, you never come and help me with the shearing.
I do.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to all the time. And Dad said
I used to read books.
Dad says that he likes to roll himself because it gives him a chance to stretch his back in between sheep.
Okay, so he likes to catch the sheep, shear it, roll the wool, back in, catch the next one, do it all himself.
Sew up the bags, move the bags.
Yeah, okay.
He does. He's a determined man.
Yeah, for anyone that's missed that in previous things, Iona's dad shears all his own sheep. Allegedly, I still can't believe it, but allegedly.
Same handpiece.
Yeah, that's the mad thing. I did tell you to get his blades in so I could sharpen them because I know they're chewing. Like, get a hold of them.
Right,
when
okay.
When you're next there.
I'll probably be there this weekend.
Right, well, get those blades down and I'll get them shown. Anything else been happening with you this weekend?
What have I done this weekend? I don't know why when you put me on the spot, my mind just goes...
That's because your weekend was so bad.
No, it wasn't actually. I had a nice... Oh, I wasn't here on Saturday.
Lovely.
So that was really nice.
Yep.
And then I met up with some people from Dumfries House on Sunday.
Okay.
Which was nice.
What did you do?
We went to the food hub. Do you know Cross Hands?
It's not Chris Hands, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We went. Have you been?
No, but I've heard it's quite good.
Yeah, really nice.
Yep.
And would be good if you're still thinking about doing stand up.
Oh, is that a good wee venue?
Good wee venue.
Yeah, I keep joking my own. It's like, do you think I could do a wee like Christmas show or something like that? But, yeah, I don't think so.
But this weekend, so I've not signed up for it yet, but Rachel, my flatmate's on at me to do it to the Paisley 10K, and I've not ran in so long, so I think I'm going to do that.
When is the Paisley 10K?
Sunday.
What, can you just turn up without entering?
No, I can, but you can enter right up until like last minute.
Can you? Paisley 10K?
So I'm thinking, I did it last year. I did it last year. Yeah. What?
Well, just like some of these big 10Ks are usually booked out before, but maybe that's not a big 10K.
Well, I went on last night and it said you could still book.
Okay.
So,
so you're just going to rock up and do a 10K?
Yeah, I am.
When did you last run?
We did a run. We did another 10K, I would say September last year. So it's been a while.
What was your time?
48.
Okay.
I would say naturally I'm quite a good runner.
But then you do 48 minutes for a 10K and it brings you back down to reality.
That's a good time. 48 minutes, that's a good time.
It is a
For
good time.
something that doesn't run all the time.
But people wouldn't usually say they do a 48-minute 10K and then say they're naturally a very good runner.
Why? 48 minutes for doing no training? Well, not no training. I did go some runs.
Yeah. So you trained for it and you're naturally a good runner. And you did No, can I just say, like 48 minutes, I'm not slagging him. 48, but it's just people don't usually boast about how good a runner they are. That's why I'm laughing. Like I would say I'm naturally quite a good runner. You know, but even just now I would probably struggle to get under 40 minutes, but I would say my naturally good running days are over. Definitely.
Right, okay. Oh yeah, you've done your ankle as well.
Oh yeah, actually I was at the hospital yesterday, but let's say I'll save that one for next week. I'll just tell you now, guys. She's all switched off by now anyway. We're at the end of the podcast. Did we say well done to Una? We said that at the start. Yeah, class Una. We'll get her on the podcast soon. So I was at the hospital yesterday, right? Now, this is how bad things are getting. I got my appointments mixed up. I thought it was a pre-op thing for my hernia operation, right? But I did think, well, it's quite early because my operation is up to the 1st of October. But I thought this is quite strange. So anyway, went in and actually it was an appointment for my ankle. And it was quite good. So it's some guy that does Scottish rugby players or something like that through my health insurance, which, by the way, private health insurance, do it, honestly.
Right, how much are we talking?
We are £77 a month for me, Lizzie, and it's only 2 boys that's on it, actually. I might need to update that.
Bonnie, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do need to update that. So me, Lizzie, and the 2 boys was £77 a month, which I know might seem crazy money to some people, but...
Right, talk me through what you get for that.
Oh, instantly seen.
Do you?
Oh, like, yeah. And then if it's something like that and it's, you know, you decide when you want the appointment. Like, so like for me to go and see it, I decide what day I go.
Right,
see, that's not when can they fit you in. You get through to somebody straight away, no hassle. Yeah. as it is proven with the hernia thing. The guy opens his diary and says, what day do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Well, for him, it was like every Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. But he's like, when do you want to do it? Rather than the NHS phone you and say, right, it's in this date. It's the middle of lambing.
Yeah.
It's the middle of lambing. It's the
I
middle
see
of
for
shearing.
farmers, actually.
That's what I mean. I'm talking.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a job that pays good sick pay and like isn't that physical, then would you worry about it? Probably not. But
Well, what is our sick pay policy?
well, you're not in a good job. You should have private healthcare. You should have. You're still in your. I think you
Can
get.
you just add me on?
I think you get a 2-year probation thing. You can go sick after the 2 years. Before that, it's sackable. That's a joke for any employment lawyer wanting to quote me here. So, yeah, the £77 a month, and there's other things I think it covers. It maybe covers. I don't think I got. Maybe I did get dental in it. I can't remember.
Right.
But yeah, that's Aviva I went with. But I think they're all. Well,
That's
Aviva
really
and Bupa
good.
seem to be the two big ones. But it was my mate that was on it, and that's what taught me into it because he got his ankle done. No, he got a hernia done on it.
Right.
I think. Or was it an ankle? I can't remember. But he got something done on it and he was telling me how great it was. Like your own private room, in and out.
Yeah.
Just pure luxuries. I mean, it's absolute privilege, middle class stuff, like private healthcare. So
To be
anyway.
fair, that's less than what I thought it would be.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Like that's, if we're over £100, would I do it? Probably not. Although after all these claims, it might go over the £100. But now it'll be worth it because I'm like,
Yeah,
I owe them.
you've got... Yeah.
Yeah. So I went into this ankle expert.
Right.
For anyone watching YouTube, I'm holding a
Why would you like to be friends?
No, it's just what. No, it's what they do. Like the private doctors, because you contact them direct.
Oh, right, okay.
Like it's mad. It's not like. It's
Like
just
you wouldn't
mad.
be like phoning reception.
No, it's
You
like
would
you just email his. Well, he might have he'll probably have a receptionist, but it's just
But
for
it's
him.
him.
Yeah, so they're like independent.
Right.
Although they work for the private hospital, they're like independent. They invoice you, pay them direct. You know, they're paid.
So then what happens? You pay them and then Aviva pays you?
Well, no, basically me just being so rash, I'm just like, I'll just pay the first appointment and then deal with it after. So I think it's £200 for the consultation. So then you can claim it back from Aviva
Right.
after. Back to the point, lovely card. I'm holding in my hand here. Really, feel that. Feel how thick that is.
Oh, no, that... Oh, nice. Is that sort of not matte? Is it matte effect?
I'm not sure who Matt is, but anyway, it's a lovely card. Very thick. You know, you can feel
Good
the weight
quality,
of it.
yeah.
It's if anyone's watched American Psycho, there's a scene in American Psycho with Christian Bale where they're comparing cards with each other. So whenever I see a good card, I always think of that scene. It's like, God, that would make him raging because that's a good card. So anyway, he's a consultant trauma and orthopedic surgeon. So he could probably help both of us. So yeah, I guess trauma is like a break and orthopedic is orthopedics your feet?
No.
Orthopedics your bones?
Bones.
Yeah, okay. So trauma and orthopedic surgeon. Fancy name.
Yeah.
So that's his role. And yeah, so I went in, literally in for 3 minutes, I think. Introduce yourself, how you doing? What's happening? Bad ankle, what happened? Rolled it.
Went into the trauma of it.
Aye, that's the trauma part. Okay, right, okay, that sounds terrible. Sorry to hear that. Pat in the back. Well, that's that healed. And then he boot off, literally just picked my foot up, turned it one way and goes, oh yeah, that's screwed. He says, yeah, all those ligaments are detached. That'll need operated on. And I was like, right, okay. Right, thanks. Nice to know.
God.
So he's like, yeah, we'll get you for an MRI.
How bad is it? Is it...
Well,
like, does
it's to
it
get an MRI.
Right. But for you, I mean, feeling it, like, is it... I suppose it must be bad if you went to go and get it seen about.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's like there's no strength. It just goes all the time.
Does it?
Yeah, there's just absolutely no strength at all. So I have to wear those boots that are all laced up above my ankle all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Like, and if I leave the house without them, I get like sweats because I know I'm going to roll my ankle and it's agony.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible. Honestly, it is so bad. I know, like I've rolled an ankle before, I've sprained ankles before, loads of times where it's rugby or just life, but this one was different because it was like,
When was
it just won't get better.
When did you hurt it?
Oh, it was a while ago now, but
What did you... Was it something that actually happened?
just rolled it.
Just went over on it?
Yeah. But like when I was running, so it was like full weight on
Oh,
it. So I was
gosh,
like, yeah. Anyway, so we'll do you an update on that, folks. I'll keep you updated on my health.
Put that, yeah, then your hernia, and then you'll be in
Well,
your
they can
man.
do both at the same time.
Can they? Literally.
No, I have to do one a week. You have to do them a week apart.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't like to be bashing elbows when they're operating. So I have to do them a week apart.
Okay.
And then I wasn't getting cheeky. I was like, do you think they could do the snip at the same time? while we're in there.
Hat trick.
Aye, but I don't think it'd be one for the insurance, and it's like $2,000. And I'm like, I'm not paying $2,000.
But I'm just worried, what about in the future if you decide that you do want to have another child? You don't know what could happen, but you don't know.
I don't. Well, listen, I know why you're saying that, all right? And it seems ridiculous to say that, like, you're a prime example of why I need to get a snip. Because it's been proven that accidents do happen. So yeah, that's why. No, 3's plenty.
You sure?
100%. We'll never get. Like, our problem is, like, you know, we're at this point where we're trying to obviously get a farm and get going. You know, and we're getting close, but all thanks to the sheep game and fed by farmers, of course, as well. But it's like, it's a massive. Look, it's the best thing ever. Of course it is. But it takes you a massive step back, you know, slowing down to have kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to do it, you know, in body clocks, and, you know, they are amazing. It's what it's all about. For me, farming is all about family. Like, the two things are the same. Like, it's all linked. Like, to me, there's no point in farming, for me, in building something up if there's nobody coming through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not going to, you know, might get lucky and get things paid off by the time I'm retiring, but it's unlikely. It's more likely you're going to have to try and encourage the next generation to come through and square things off and grow it and push it forward, because to do it in one generation is a tough thing.
Yeah.
The cost of thing these days. So, yeah, it's one of those things, whereas if we keep going another one, like, you need a bigger vehicle. You know, Lizzie's, I'm not saying she's out of action, she does a lot of work as well, but, like, for example, if Lizzie hadn't been having kids the last 3 or 4 years, she'd have been away shearing.
Yeah.
And she'd have made 150 grand.
Yeah.
Do you know? So you're 150 grand behind, plus you know, Lizzie and I were just, not that, you know, we absolutely love obviously the whole thing.
Yeah.
We've nailed it. It's perfection.
Yeah.
But just as you do, and you're thinking about moving forward, like, you know, what do you think that's actually cost, you know, to stop and do it? It's a farm deposit.
Yeah.
Like, it's mad to think. Stopping to have a family, you're equivalent of a farm. Time you add the costs, the additional cost of, you know, the kids, but it's just nappies and all that other stuff that comes with it, and Lizzie's loss of earnings. Yeah. There's no maternity leave or anything, obviously self-employed. You're at a farm deposit.
Yeah, that's mad.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's mad to think about it like that. But absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. We're very, very lucky. So yeah, that's some mad tangents we're not on in this podcast. Anyway, I think that'll do us. Save some for Friday.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, folks. See you for the next one.
Why do you keep changing the end of it?
Yeah, I do. That's a sheep game ending. Sorry.
Is it?
Aye, I do that a lot. It's I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we're both
Fed by farmers.